this experience was a few days ago. It was multiple parts, but I'll combine them into one kind of story. On the real side, I remember I'll give a little bit of background, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago now, I had a real side experience to where I was seeing that there was this individual, another awareness on the real side, just an individual who was very, you might say, compatible with me, or had decided that they wanted to come through to the earth as the daughter. And I was agreeable to this, and so we were trying to set this up, and I had seen them be like how they were before and how they were going to come in as the daughter. And since that experience, I've maybe seen them 4 times. And so it's been kind of off and on like that, meeting with this individual, trying to set things up in a particular way for them to come through. And it's kind of interesting to note too, as the years have gone by, and I've seen this individual on the real side, they're becoming more like because like I said, the first time I saw them, they were how they looked before, how they were presenting themselves. They didn't completely look like this little girl. And then the more that I see them, they steadily adopt this identity of this little girl. And so now they'd only appear as that. And so that brings us to this current experience that I had a few days ago, to where I was meeting again with this individual, and we were laying on this very soft looking hill. It's completely covered in grass. There was no trees, and there was just like, it was kind of a simple landscape. It was just this green hill and then the sky, the clear blue sky, and we were laying on our backs on the grass. And so that, of course, is indicative not only of the physical realm, but being grounded and this endlessness, you might say, or looking at this endlessness. And I was showing it to her. I was sort of like pointing toward the sky, and she turned to me, this little girl. She was laying on my right hand side, and she turned to me and she said, I'm gonna miss you when you're gone, like when I'm not on the earth. And I knew that she was implying like the physical death, or the leaving of the physical body. And I remember I turned to her and I told her, I said, I'm not going anywhere, and I started to explain to her that there is no, you might say, such thing as a death. You only transition from one vehicle to the next, and then you're with this endlessness. If you have the awareness, you can recognize this position. And when I was explaining all this to her, and I was showing her like the sky, it's like I opened up a movie for her to see in the sky, and I was showing this to her about at least what I was aware of and what I could present to her as this endlessness. And all of a sudden, and it was kind of interesting to note too, because as I was presenting this to her, it's like I was a carpenter, because there was all these things that I had carved out of wood, and I was trying to tell her that this is a part of everything. It was very, very it's hard to put into words exactly, but I was something like a carpenter, and I was making this scene for her. Well, as I'm explaining all of this to her, and as I'm presenting it to her in such a way, she transforms into this ball of light, and she completely just like starts glowing like this, like she's a little sun, and she's just completely glowing, and she's just pure awareness. It's like it really woke her up. To it. At least she was seeing part of it in her own way. She started to recognize it, and so that was the first part of the experience. But in the next part of the experience, and as it is kind of like one story, you might say, I remember I was with her again, and we're sort of like in this outer space part or whatever, and we were looking at the earth, and I was sharing with her the new you, and we both started to sing the new you. And she was on my right hand side, and we were singing the new you. And as we started singing the new you, our view completely expanded. It's like we were moving away from the earth at light years speed. And the idea that I was trying to present to her, and that I was recognizing, was that when you're singing the new you and you have this awareness and you put your focus and attention on it, your view expands. You know, and kind of like a literal way I'm trying to show her, it moves away from the earth, but what it really is you start to see the bigger picture. There's other things going on than just at the earth only, you know. So again, because she had this idea of, you know, the physical death being something of a permanent aspect, or that she was going to miss my body form or whatever, what have you. So I thought that was very interesting to help this individual along and see if they come through at some point or the other, because again, it's all dependent on agreement, but it was a fun experience nonetheless, and I wanted to share it with everyone. So thank you.
Hi, Jeremy. It's good to hear from you and see you here. And yeah, that's a Netflix series, isn't it? Yes. Thank you so much. That's really cool. So, uh, you know, meeting with others a step at a time, and the fun part is getting a little agreement that they at least try it out and see something. Yes. Yeah, that's very, very good.